is. So you can focus on me or you can focus on Stephanie. You could have both options. But if you are using a chair, make sure that it is on a stable surface so that it doesn't slide around. And if you need a mat, you can use just carpet, floor, whatever you've got. We are using, you'll see us using some blocks here. You can also use soup cans if you're at home. And let's get ready to get started. So the normal flow of class is we start with breath work, usually seated. Then we start to move up and into standing, and then we'll come back down to the floor. If you're in your chair, it'll be most of those places just right from your chair. So we end at the very end with a very short little yoga nap, and we call it Shavasana. So we'd love to have you join us for that. So with that, let's get started. If you find yourself seated, coming onto the floor or onto a chair, wherever you're at, there are a couple of options here. You can come into it either with legs extended, or you can move into it with legs crossed, or even coming up and into onto a block. So just finding a comfortable place to be seated. I'm gonna tuck my leg in here. Find a spot to feel the weight of the seat settle down and into the floor. And then from here, just, you made it. You already did the hardest part, and that's show up, right? So from here, start to take a little sway or movement in the spine, side to side, trying to get comfortable in this seat. Feel that movement through the shoulders, and then slowly start to bring it back and into center. Feel the weight of the shoulders release down and away from the ears. Feel the low belly just kind of start to pull back toward the spine, and feel this gentle lift up and in through the chest. Start to begin to move into your breath. Take an inhale through the nose. Feel the breath move into the chest, out and into the ribs, and into the low belly. And then from here, open the mouth, slow release, let go, and exhale. Inhale again through the nose. Kind of feel the sound of the breath. And open the mouth, slow release, let go, exhale. Again, drawing that breath in through the nose. Maybe this time drawing it in a tiny bit deeper, feeling the ribs expand, feeling the bottom of the belly start to expand. And open the mouth, release, let go, exhale. From here, let's start to move into it just a tiny bit deeper. Draw the breath in through the nose. And if it feels comfortable for you, softly keep the lips together and exhale through the nose. Beginning to build a little bit of internal heat. Inhale through the nose again. And then release, let go, exhale. And as you're moving through the breath, try to keep the shoulders where they're at and not using them to pump the breath. One more time, we'll move in through that inhale, deep inhale. And release, let go, exhale. And with those few breaths, you might start to notice maybe a little ease in the brain, a little bit of release of tension through the shoulders and through the back. From here, start to find a place to settle in. Feel a gentle lift in through the chest and through the heart. Soft squeeze of the shoulder blades toward each other, and exhale again. So simply finding breath at the beginning of every practice helps you settle into the mat, starts to relieve tension through the body, and really prepares us for the rest of the practice. You'll hear breath cues throughout. Follow them where you can. Over time, they might be easier to find. And if they don't make sense to you, just do the best that you've got, okay? So from here, start to bring the hands to the tops of the legs. You can either just cup over the knees, maybe just press into the thighs, but gently bring the shoulders forward. Shoulder blades come wide and bring the chin down and into the chest, round the spine, into cat. Push into those legs, draw the shoulder blades together. Keep the belly drawn in towards center and then lift up through the center of the heart, bringing the gaze toward the sky. And again, exhale, round the spine, bring chin to chest. Pull up and through, squeeze shoulder blades, lift through the heart. And again, round the spine, bring chin to chest. Start to pull up into a more neutral spine. Feel the weight of the hands release down and into the legs. Feel the shoulder blades slide down the back again. And then start to find little circles through the spine. Small spirals first, left or right makes no difference because we'll go both directions eventually. And from here, start to increase the distance of those circles. And slowly start to bring it back into center. So making them a little tiny bit smaller. Come into neutral. Take a little sway side to side. Just let the spine realign. Come back into stillness. Lift up through the heart or through the center of the chest. And then slowly start to find those circles again. Over to the other direction. What you'll notice is that you begin to increase the distance or the depth of those circles, that your shoulders start to come into that movement also. And slowly start to bring it back into center. Coming into that neutral spine, rocking side to side, finding neutral. And then that gentle lift up and through the chest again. From here, we'll find a twist. So take your left hand, bring it either out to the side, underneath the chair, and then take your right hand, can either just come to neutral in the front or all the way over to this left leg and start to draw the left shoulder toward the back of the room. If the neck allows, you'll take your gaze over that back shoulder. Otherwise, a neutral spine or neutral gaze is also perfect. Draw the breath in again. And exhale, come to the front. Find release through the spine. And slowly start to move over to the other side. Okay. So you may notice a difference from side to side. Lengthen through the spine. Draw that right shoulder toward the back of the room. And again, if the neck allows, to see where that movement finds you over to this right side. Deep inhale. And exhale, slow release back into center. Find a little movement, whatever works best for you here. Could be those circles, it can be those cat cows, it could be another twist. And then slowly start to settle back into the middle. Bring the arms out to the sides. And then roll the thumbs up toward the ceiling here. Really feeling the chest open and try not to push the ribs forward, but gently draw them back. Sweep the fingertips overhead. Now, if your shoulders only allow for this much movement, that's also perfect. You can bring the hands behind the head or sweep all the way, bringing fingertips to touch. Drop the elbows down toward the ribs, coming into cactus arms or goalpost arms, and let the hands rise toward the sky again. Down and out to the edges. And lift, reach, and rise. One last time, drawing those hands out to the edges. Bring the left hand down to the side. Take this right arm over the top of the head or to the top of the head, and let your right ear drop down toward your right shoulder, okay? So you're not pulling the head down, you're just kind of using it as a weight here. Now, this might be perfect for you just hanging out here. If you feel like you have a little more room in the neck here, start to walk the left hand behind. And bring it back to the center. Release the right arm to the floor. Find a little release through the neck, whatever you need to do here. And then start to bring the arms up and into the center again, or out to the sides. From here, take your left arm on top. Right hand comes down. Let the left ear drop toward the left shoulder. And finding that depth of the posture, if it works for you. You should never have to work your way into something with your pain. It should be you should be able to find a full deep breath in every movement. And if you can't, then just come out of it a little bit. Start to bring the neck into center, walk that arm forward, release this left hand down to the ground, and start to bring the hands to the tops of the legs here. Bring the chin into the chest, round the spine. Pull up and through, squeeze the shoulder blades. Round the spine, bring chin to chest. And then pull up and through again, squeeze shoulder blades. Come into a neutral spine here. And from this space, we'll start to move into bringing our hands and feet and coming into a position called, or a posture called tabletop. So it's coming up and onto all fours. Depending on how your legs and your hips move, you might need to just sweep the legs around. You might be able to roll over the top here, whatever it takes for you. I might grunt a little bit and bring them around. And then we'll come forward into your tabletop. So Stephanie here is just going to move to the very edge of her chair. I'll be here. I'm going to place these blocks in front of me here. I'll want those in a little bit. And from here, take your thumb, pointer finger, and ring finger and press firmly down and into the mat, okay? Push away from the floor, draw the shoulder blades wide, push your toenails down into the mat, and then the same thing we did in seated called cat-cow. We'll gently lift the spine up, pull the chin into the chest, draw shoulder blades wide. Let the belly to come down, bring the gaze up into your cow, and then round the spine, bring chin to chest. Let that belly come down again one more time. Bring the gaze up. Round the spine, bring chin to chest. Come into a neutral spine. If you've got those blocks, you can certainly grab them, or if you've got whatever you've got for support here, or just simply start to bring your left foot forward, this back leg forward. Bring it to the top of the mat, and we'll move in toward a posture called, or a lunge posture. Switching or just kind of sliding onto the side of the chair here. Lift the torso up, and then lift and lengthen through the belly and bring those shoulders over the hips to start, okay? Your simple lunge can be just bringing this left hand to the top of the left knee and sliding forward, okay? That can be the full depth of your posture. Or if you'd like, you can use these blocks, slide forward and then find a little more depth in that hip flexor. Try to keep length in the front line of the body as you expand forward. Take another inhale and then start to slide back. Kick the toes up on this front foot and then push the heel into the floor. Now imagine that you're dragging that leg back and you're kind of lifting through the chest here, opening up through this hamstring here on the back side of the leg. Building a little bit of strength. Then pull forward, plant that left foot, bring the hands to the floor, to the block, start to slide your left foot back, and then find any movement you need to do to release through the hips. Maybe a little hip circles here. Then come into center. And then start to bring your right foot forward. So you'll bring that, slide that right foot forward. Feel where you're at in this side on the lunge. It might be a little different than the other side. Again, lining the shoulders up over the hips to start with. And from here, slide into that right knee and trying to find the depth in the hip flexor on the right side. So try not to let the neck come down. Try to maintain a little strength here as you slide forward. And again, finding your breath. And then slowly start to tip back. Tip the toes up and then press into the heel of that front foot. If you've got blocks, you can hang out here and really press into the heel and imagine again that you're dragging it back. So you're trying to find strength in the hip flexor or the hamstring, more so than just all of that flexibility. Need a little bit of both in life. Slide forward again. Bring your right foot back. Find center. And we'll start to move up and into that standing posture. So for you, let's just find a few cat cows first to move through the spine. Bring chin to chest, lift it on up. Let the belly come down one more time into your cow. Tuck your toes under. Start to lift the knees away from the floor and press your hips back into your down dog. From here, pedal it out. So moving those feet side to side, bending the knees, and then gaze forward between your hands. Find your way up to the top of the mat. So for some, that's going to be 2 steps, and for others, it might be 12. I'm not sure how many you're going to take, but you'll just start to walk up to the top of the mat. Kind of feel your feet underneath your hips or underneath your shoulders. Take a little bend in the knees. Take a sway side to side. And from here, squeeze the legs together. Come onto your fingertips. Bring your hands to your chest and start to roll up to standing. All right. From this space, we'll move into a little soft sequence, and it's called a half sun salute. It's a great way to start the morning. It's a great way to just kind of revitalize the body. You can do it again, standing or seated. So palms are forward, roll those shoulders back just like we did when we were seated. Sweep the hands up toward the ceiling. Soft bend in the knees. So don't try not to lock the knees out. Exhale, fold it forward. If you can't touch the floor, it's not a big deal. You can still come and play. You can bring your hands to your shins, and then feel this gentle lift and rise of the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Sink the hips and let the hands reach toward the ceiling. Look at that from the side. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Lengthen, feel the chest lift. Exhale, soft bend of the knees, forward fold. And then sweep the hands toward the sky. Bring the thumbs right back into the center. Let's do that 3 more times. Lift and rise. Soft knees, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees a little bit and then bring the hands up toward the sky. Exhale, thumbs to heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And then bring the hands toward the sky. All right, one more here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release and fold. And then start to sweep those fingertips toward the sky. Bring the thumbs right back into the center. What you might notice is you start to heat up a little bit, building that fire inside. It's not a bad thing. Start to find a little bit of movement here. Come to the top of your mat. Feel your feet come, heels of your feet come right underneath your shoulders. That's hip distance. Feel the feet in the floor. Feel the heels press into the mat, and then the space behind the big toe. Step your right foot back and open up to the long side of the mat, okay? So we're moving toward a posture called Warrior Two. But first we need to find a little alignment through the hips. Now, if you're feeling unsteady and balanced, sometimes it feels like you should not have your feet so wide. If you can find that space where it feels comfortable for you, that's perfect. And then over time, you might be able to find a little more distance, okay? If you take your left foot, rotate it toward the front of the room, and now your feet are perpendicular, okay? So the heel of one foot lines up with the other foot. We'll take your front knee, bend the knee, and take your right shoulder over the top of this right knee, okay? Strengthen the inner thigh. If you were to look down at your knee, it'd be rotating out toward your pinky toe. And then depending on how your shoulders feel, you'll either bring the hands to the chest or begin to extend, okay? So this is increasing the length and strength that's required in the arms here. Take your right hand down the right leg, lift the left hand toward the sky, and then reach up and overhead. Bring the left hand down, bring the left hand to the left leg, and then bring your right hand up and overhead. Bring it up and overhead again. Sweep your right hand down, left arm rises. Left arm down, right hand reaches. And one more time, right arm down, left hand reaches toward the sky. Then bring this left arm down and extend toward the ceiling. Come up and extend the arms. And again, maybe it's here. Start to straighten your front knee. If you're standing, you might want to shorten your stance just a smidge. Keep the legs mostly straight so they're not locked out, but there's a little tiny bend in them. We'll reach and expand, and we'll move into that triangle pose. So you'll extend that left hand toward the front of the room, bring the left hand down, and the right hand lifts toward the ceiling. And again, if your shoulder hurts you, you can hang out here, or just bring the hand to the hip is also perfect. We really try to lift this right shoulder toward the ceiling. Deep inhale. Exhale. Feel the strength in the legs. We'll squeeze through the glutes and start to press into your left leg. Lift up to standing. From here, we'll take this right leg, either stutter step it up to the top or one giant step up to the top of the mat, or coming forward on your mat, on your chair. Okay, whew. Little booty rub there. Okay, take your left foot, bring it out to the side. And again, just find this comfortable distance. Usually it's about, over time, it might be right under that space where your wristwatch is. Then rotate your right foot toward the top of your mat. I just switch sides so you don't see my hind end the whole time. You'll still be facing the same direction. From here, again, bring the arms up, feel the shoulders here, squeeze the shoulder blades gently toward each other. You can remain here or extend the arms. Slide the left arm down the left leg, right hand rises. Bring this right arm. Oh, we forgot to bend our knee. Oh, that was me. Bend the right knee, warrior two. Oh, this is how life goes sometimes. Bring your right arm down, left hand overhead. We'll get to that other pose pretty soon. Bring the right hand overhead, then right arm down. And then lift and expand again. Now, one last time, we'll come into this side angle. Lift it on up. Bring the arms in, give them a tiny bit of a rest. From here, straighten the front knee. Now we're going to straighten the knee. Extend again, or again, remain out here. And then start to reach forward, bringing the hand down to the leg and lifting left hand toward the sky. So you might be able to reach closer to the floor. Maybe you can get real close to the foot, but try and keep your left shoulder up toward the ceiling. And again, options for that shoulder. Find your breath, especially when it seems like whew, things are starting to come alive. Take another inhale. Press into legs, lift yourself up, and then take that step, bringing both feet up to the top of the mat. Palms are forward. Shake out the legs a little bit. It's a lot of strength required, and then sweep the hands toward the sky. Reach and expand. Soft bend in the knees. Exhale, forward fold for your half sun salute. I told you we get back to it. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Sink the hips, and then sweep the hands toward the sky. Reach, expand. This time, pull the elbows down toward the ribs. Goal post or cactus arms. Lift and rise. One more half sun salute here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold it forward again. Keep that softness in the knees as you let the hands rise toward the sky. Be nice to your hamstrings today. Elbows into ribs. Bring the hands out to the sides. Roll through the shoulders. Release it a little bit. A little dance, maybe not. Okay, so, well, Steph is still dancing. We're good. From here, we'll move into tree. Tree is a balanced posture, so you can either try it from your chair, but you can come behind the chair if that works for you. If you're having, you're concerned about tipping trees, you can also press into the wall, face the wall, whatever it takes, or just bring the hands to the hips. Once the hands start to expand, then our center of balance changes and requires a little more strength, okay? So we'll start with bringing the right knee forward. And as you bring your right knee forward, you'll feel the weight shift to this left side. Lift up strong through the left side, rotate your right knee out to the side, okay? Your tree can look as simple as this, still requires a lot of strength and apparently some balance. Or you can, if you're feeling like you wanna be a little more sturdy in your tree and then still get that rotation through the hip, you can hang out here on a block. Or you can let the hands rise, bring it up and into the calf. Try to avoid finding into that really comfy space into the knee, and as you lift up toward the sky. Bring the right knee forward. Right foot comes back to the mat, hands out to the sides. Whew, again. Palms are forward. Bringing the left knee forward this time. Okay, here's what you're trying to avoid, is popping out into this hip, holding yourself like this, and into a tree, okay? What you're trying to do is stack the shoulder over the hip, bring the left knee forward, so it's a little bend in the knee, rotate out to the left side. So finding this strong rotation through the hip, wherever that is for you, and then strengthen the right side, and then also strengthen the belly. Again, you can hang out here, hands to hips, hands to heart center, or fingertips rise. Don't stop breathing though, okay? Take a big breath. Lift up strong through this right side. Play with it. You can do this while you brush your teeth. You can play with it too, okay? Rotate the left knee forward. Release the left foot to the floor. Release the hands out to the sides if you've taken them to the sky. then just a little bit of movement through the hips here. Palms forward. Let's find 2 more half sun salutes, okay? Sweep the hands toward the ceiling. Reach toward the sky, let the shoulders fall down just a little bit. Feet can be together or hip distance, usually feels better hip distance. Soft bend in the knees, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift or hands to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Sink the hips, let the hands rise, reach toward the ceiling. This time we'll drop the elbows into the ribs again. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, soft bend in the knees, and then sweep the fingertips toward the sky. Now, thumbs come right back into the center. We'll start moving toward the floor. We're coming into a seated space. So if you just want to find your way down into that, whatever works best for you, if you need to use something to get there, or we can do it fancy. So here we go. Palms forward, reach up toward the ceiling, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift up again. This time we're bringing the hands down to the floor or to those blocks. Walk your feet back into your plank. Bring your gaze slightly forward. Lift the belly up just a tiny bit. And then return the knees down to the mat. From here, you can simply walk the feet through, or you can sweep them to the side, but come into your seat. Extend the feet toward the front of the room. All right, if your hamstrings are really tight, straightening your legs all the way is not going to be great, okay? So if you need to bring a little blanket or something underneath them, feel free to do that. Otherwise, press the heels forward. Bring the hands to the shins or wherever you can reach, but feel this little lift of the chest up, okay? If you feel your legs sweeping out to the sides, you might also notice the chest comes forward. Take a little handful of thigh, lift, and then rotate into center a tiny bit, lift and rotate into center, okay? Now, feel the length in the spine here, and then again, bring the hands to the shins, press into them, and your forward fold might be here. That can be the max. Or you can start to walk the hands forward, right? The hardest and most difficult posture to find is really just trying to get into this 90-degree angle. Most of us sit like this all the time, so finding here that's the real deal, just trying to find that space, okay? Now, from your forward fold, begin to walk the hands back up the legs. Pull the legs in toward the seat. And from here, let the soles of the feet come together. Okay. I'm going to demonstrate how to use the blocks here or whatever you've got around you. You can see Stephanie just has the soles of her feet together here. You can let the knees drift out to the sides. Some of you might let the legs be able to reach the floor. I'm going to demonstrate. I'll show you how to use the blocks here. If you don't have blocks, you can simply kind of bring the hands underneath and hold the legs here, but just trying to find that outer spiral through the thighs or through the hips. Lift and lengthen. If you have the space to do so and it feels like you can still breathe, find your forward fold. Exhale. Take another lift and lengthen. And then exhale, find a little more space to expand into the posture. Start to roll up to seated. Take the hands underneath the legs, kind of lift them up to center, and then heel toe the feet out to the sides. Move your handy blocks if you found them. Find any movement you need to release through the hips. Okay, maybe it's a rock side to side. Maybe you have a little more room than this to rotate. And then start to find your shoulders over your hips again. You might need to move the sits bones, finding the space, and then start to take the legs wide. Okay, and wide is a relative term. Stephanie, I'll try not to play footsie here. We'll take a little lift through the center. So a rock side to side through the seat if you need to. And again, finding this 90-degree is sometimes the most challenging part. And you can just hang out here to start with. Maybe you have a lovely little block or a pillow or a book, and you can press into that and feel the chest lift, press into the heels. Or you may have the space to move forward into a fold. Feel that breath. You should be able to take a full deep breath here. Inhale. And then let go, exhale. Take another inhale. Let go, release, exhale. And slowly start to bring yourself back up to seated. Okay. It's a lot of movement through the back and a lot of movement through the hips here. So we'll take the hands underneath the knees again. Draw them up and into center. Plant the feet in front of you. If you would like, you can either hang out here or take a little lean back and then rotate the knees side to side. Bring it back into center. Lift on up. Find your sits bones beneath you again, and then hands to shins. Lift through the chest. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, pull up and through. And exhale, round the spine. Pull up and through one more time. Pull the heels in just a teeny tiny bit. I'm going to rotate. I'll rotate sideways here. We'll move into boat posture. You can do this from the floor. You can do it from your chair also. We'll do it 2 times. So here's the first example or sample. Take your hands behind the legs. Lift through the chest, finding the shoulders over the hips. Start to pull back just a little bit and feel the chest come back. Maybe you lift one foot, right? That still activates the center of the core. Lift the other. Maybe you can lift both feet, right? Or just coming back into center. Then walk your feet forward, bring chin to chest, round the spine. Pull up and through, same thing. Put your seatbelt on. Pull the heels back a little bit, lengthen. And then if you're in the chair, you're just gonna simply lean back a little bit. I'll just lean back, and this is plenty. You're activating through the center, and if you wanna add more to it, you just simply lift the legs or release the hands. Strong bellies mean strong backs. Feet to the floor, hands to shins. Round the spine, lift through the chest. Pull up and through. And from here, start to find your way onto your back. So you'll pull or roll yourself down and onto the floor. If you're seated in your chair, you'll just hang out where you're at. The rest of us will meet you on the floor. Find yourself in the center of the mat if you're using one. And from here, oh, hi. Side to side with the legs. Releasing that low back. Walk your feet out just a tiny bit wider than your hips or a tiny bit wider than your shoulders, whatever you want to use for your reference point. From here, we'll take the legs, drift them over to the left side. And if the neck allows, bring your gaze over your right shoulder. Okay. If it feels like it's way too much, you can straighten your legs a little bit and then just make it a more gentle twist, okay? Legs don't have to touch the floor. It's just trying to find this lengthening through the side body, through the hip. And maybe this hip lifts off of the floor. Start to bring the legs into center. Lift it up again. You'll need to readjust, so take a little movement side to side. And then let those legs come just a little bit wide again. Adjust through the low back if you need to, through shoulder blades. And from this space, take that drift of the legs over to the right side. And then gaze over the left shoulder. Finding support where you need to. And again, you can make it easier by lengthening or straightening the legs. I guess you probably can't make them much longer, but you can straighten them. Come back into your breath. And then open the mouth, big exhale. Slowly start to bring the legs into center. Pull the feet in toward the bottom. Feel a soft lift of the low back. Release the shoulder blades. Pull those thighs up and in toward the chest, and then bring the legs up toward the ceiling. Now, if you're in the chair, you'll simply just straighten the legs. Here, if your hamstrings are especially not as flexible as you were hoping they'd be, you can keep the knees bent. You're still getting that same amount of effort here as you move into this posture. If it feels pretty easy to do, you can straighten the legs and maybe even draw those legs in toward the forehead, okay? Try to keep your low back flat to the floor, but find the variation that works best for you this morning. Come back into the breath. Oh, maybe a roll through the ankles if that feels good. Make sure you go both directions though. You want to be equal. From this posture, let the heels come down toward the bottom. So drop the heels down. You might feel a little rush of blood back to the feet. Bring your feet back to the mat. And then again, adjust through the low back, taking that sway of the legs side to side. From here, we'll move into one of our last postures before we head into Shavasana. And the posture is called Happy Baby. So you'll pull the legs in toward the armpits, okay? So you wanna let the knees drift out to the sides a little bit. And from here, this can be your full posture. If you can't quite reach your feet or your belly or breasts are in the way, you can just kind of hang on to the back of the legs. If you've got a little more space through the center, you can maybe reach up and grab the big toes, right? This is the part where somebody walks in, you feel a little weird, right? But it's all right. Happy babies do it, so we can too. So options are, you would just hang out right here, or you can sway side to side. Or if you're in the chair, you can see Stephanie's taking her legs wide and then found the fold there. It's the same posture, it just is like it's flipped upside down, okay? From here, let the heels of the feet come down toward the bottom again. Start to release the feet back to the floor. And then find any other movements you might need to release through the body. So if you're feeling a little movement through the shoulders, through the hips, whatever it is that you need. We'll draw the knees into the chest one more time, bring the hands to the shins, pull the forehead up toward the knees and squeeze face, fingers, toes. Let the head come back to the floor. Pull your feet down to the mat and walk your feet out to the edges of your mat, okay? So feet just are a little bit wide here. We'll find a space to kind of rotate the knees in toward the middle. So feeling just one more rotation through the hips here as you bring the knees into center. Let the shoulder blades and the low back come back down toward the floor. And this can be your shape for that final relaxation posture, okay? We'll bring the right hand to the chest, left hand to the low belly, feeling where the breath is at. And if this doesn't work for you, feel free to bring the arms somewhere else. You can remain here with the legs like this, or you can start to lift up and extend the feet forward, okay? So if your low back bothers you, it's knees together. And if you're here, it's that long expansion. Start to feel the actual rhythm of your breath here. It's the deep inhale through the nose. Feel the belly expand and slow release, let go, exhale. In this relaxation posture, we're trying to make the breath almost inaudible. So see if you can start to slow it down and feel the weight of the body connect into the floor. Notice the spots that the body touches the ground. Maybe it's your chair. Wherever you feel that physical connection back into earth or grounding. Let the face soften by dropping the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. And create a small gap between the upper and lower set of teeth. Before moving out of this posture, take a moment for gratitude, a place for maybe something, someone, somewhere that you are grateful or thankful for, setting that mindset into positivity. Take another inhale. This time, open the mouth, let go, exhale, and send that out. Start to find movement through fingertips and through toes, maybe a wiggle through the ankles or through the wrists, reawakening the body. Pull the heels in toward the bottom here. And you have a couple of options. You can either roll to the side or rock yourself front to back, but start to bring yourself up and into your seat again, okay? So you've been reclined, make sure that that blood pressure gets somewhat equalized. Take a moment, no rush. Coming back into your easy seat here, however that feels for you. Take a moment to lift through the chest and maybe just maybe feel a little lighter. I always like to say that yoga makes the people around me nicer, just that sensation of a little bit of lightness. So with that, we have a little, we do a little closing sequence here. We'll take the hands out to the sides, point the thumbs up toward the ceiling again, and sweep the fingertips toward the sky, lift. From here, we'll take the thumbs down to the forehead. It's just a simple reminder that may your thoughts bring you wisdom. And as thumbs float in front of the lips, it's a reminder that may your words speak truth. And that as thumbs come right to the center of the chest, this area of the heart, that may your actions continually show compassion. So as you move throughout the rest of the day, may you find peace, may you find joy, may you find empathy and compassion for others, and most especially for yourself. Thank you for having us, and thanks for joining us on this class. If you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer them, but we thank you very much for joining us. Have a nice day, thanks.
Oh, thank you so much, Sigrid and Steph. That was really wonderful. There's nothing I like better than a little yoga in the middle of the day. So that is a joy. And thank you also to my colleagues. We didn't have any questions in the queue, but if you think of any, you have more opportunities. So first, I want to thank Janelle Mose and Jareen Redmond for their assistance and support in the background today. We needed it more than usual, and we got all set up all as well. If you enjoyed today, please sign up for the other classes in our series. This is the first in a series that we'll be doing. You'll be able to see them. You can see on the screen right now all the places you can find more information about that. And then also next week, now that you've had a taste of this, Sigrid and I are going to come together and we're going to do a Passport to Healthy Living event all about yoga on September 21 at 3 p.m. We'll be demystifying things, talking about some of the things we did today and that we'll do in future sessions. And we'll talk about props, modifications, and why yoga is for every person and for every body. There's really no limitations on how yoga can be beneficial. And I think Steph and Sigrid did a great job showing us that today. So be sure to register now and plan to join us for those things. And for those of you attending the live event, watch for an email with a survey link in it, and you can provide us with some feedback. We'd be really grateful. We like to be able to serve you well, and your feedback helps us do that. So that is everything. And thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. No other questions are coming through the queue, and we had a